how do you explain the situation there in Gaza?
Well, I'm not a political analyst or any kind of an expert. So the only way that I know how to present it, and I have been asked this question by my family, by my friends, is that there are people in Gaza who for at least a year, if not longer, these are I call them regular people. Okay, this is not the military or the people who are in power or the government or whatever. These are the regular people, moms, dads, kids, who they want to raise their children in peace. They want to be able to put their kids to bed at night and not worry that there's going to be a rocket that's going to hit their house. They want to be able to send their kids to school and not worry that their child is going to be killed by a sniper. The father wants to be able to go to work and earn an honest living to support his family. The mother wants to be able to have clean water to cook with and fuel for the fire. These are simple, basic needs for people who just want to live their lives. And in Gaza, right now, because of the powers at be that seem to not be considering the needs of the regular folk, the borders are closed. The borders are closed at the risk of weapons getting in or out, or rockets getting in or out. But in the meantime, there's no food getting in, there's no medicine getting in, there's not even cement getting in so that they can rebuild their homes that have been destroyed by rockets. And for me, as a mom, as a regular person, that's just reprehensible and disgusting. And in the view of the world, it's like someone needs to take notice and say, no, this is not okay. This is not okay. This is no longer a political thing. This is people dying and suffering for what exactly? I just, it seems to me like there would be another way of, if rockets is really the issue, of keeping a rocket out but still letting in food. I don't know what that looks like. I don't even pretend to have an answer. But this has just been going on for too long, and as a regular person, as a mom, it's like I can't let it go. This has been going on for so long. I think it's easy for people to get complacent or just to say, oh, it's this conflict has been going on since what? The Bible days or whatever. It's always going to be there. Who cares? It is what it is. But I can't stand by and let it continue. I actually had one person say to me, because I made a comment about regular people, like there's regular people who are suffering, and he's like, well, what do you mean by regular people? I'm like, and I pointed to his wife and his kids, and I'm like, people like your wife and your children. So he's like, oh, you mean like the regular Gazans? I'm like, yeah, the regular citizens of Gaza are the ones who are suffering. It's always the innocent civilians who get caught in the crossfire.
This is still collective punishment, because these people are entrapped and by sea and by the wall in Gaza with no, like you say, food, medicine.
Right.
And a vast majority of them haven't done anything other than being Palestinian and being in Gaza. So
right.
Collective punishment is what? Illegal.
Yes.
But is that what people don't understand in the United States? I guess they don't understand. I guess I don't. Americans what? Don't pay attention? I don't understand what the lack of knowledge is there.
I think it's collective ignorance, if I can say that, or maybe even, dare I say, religious ignorance. If you're going to look at it from, the Christian standpoint, I've had, religious friends say to me, if you're for the Palestinians, then you're against Israel. And if you're against Israel, then you're against God. And I'm just not quite sure that it's that black and white, you know? I mean, if you're going to use the religious line of thinking, I'm pretty darn sure that Jesus would go to Gaza. You know? Really. And, you know, there's all this talk about terrorism and Hamas and, you know, the number of suicide bombers and Israelis that were killed. And I mean, and I'm still no expert, but from what I've seen and read, the statistics of casualties, the Palestinian death toll far outweighs the Israeli death toll. And so if you're going to be cold-hearted enough to just look at it from a number standpoint, then clearly Israel and her allies are winning, whatever it is they're trying to win. But in my opinion, death is death. You know, it's like, what makes a Palestinian death any more or less important than an Israeli death? Do you know what I mean? It's like, I think that death is just bad all the way around, no matter how you look at it. But I think I'm getting off the topic. People are so afraid of terrorism, and they're so convinced that Hamas is bad and that Israel is good. And because it can be so murky from a political standpoint or from a religious standpoint, that people are afraid of really delving into just the basics of human rights, civil liberties, just whatever. It's so murky everywhere else that they're afraid to take a stand, and it's too overwhelming for them to try to even really learn what's really going on. They just prefer to err on the side of ignorance because that's what everybody else is doing. That's my opinion.